I have to talk about this now. Scaling Chinese branch SCP is kind of getting irritating. Firstly, the language barrier is one of the biggest problems, which comes in the way of scaling, as Chinese is arguably the most complex language in the world, and therefore, the translations are bound to have mistranslations and misleading information if done via Google Translate. The official hub of English translation of CN branch does not have much info on the high-tier characters, and therefore it raises a question regarding authenticity of the Chinese branch's canonicity. Information regarding Chinese branch is mostly founded in nearly unsearchable links in some forums of internet, so we can't be 100% sure if this information are legit or not. So it is nearly impossible to make sure which of these characters are canon and which are non-canon or just completely fake. And unlike English branch SCP, the Chinese branch more so is focused on creating just strong, overpowered characters, which kind of ruins the point of writing a character. If a character or story is only written for the purpose of being strong, with no other factor involved, then that character or story is completely meaningless. But that out of the way, let's get to the serious part. CN branch's focus on creation of high-tier cosmic entities is now getting completely meaningless. CN branch's cosmology is basically an extension of Joric verse from EN branch. It expands from universe prime, which is possibly one of the biggest structures in English branch. It holds all of Cantor's upper attic, 0 equals 1 contradiction, D equals L ultimate conjecture, extended modal realism, Tegmark type 4 multiverse, and pataphysics, all along with the entire metafictional and narrative-based scaling. Due to cosmology, most of the characters already break the tiering system, and some go to the ends of irrelevancy. They are stacking again and again, more and more character over the already broken system, which is, to be honest, unnecessary. But it's their wish. I don't have any problem with that. But the problem with this is there is no constant and proper tier and scale for these characters. So forming a list of characters is basically impossible, as new and more higher scaling entities would just keep on emerging out of nowhere. Back then, when I first started to hear about CN branch, I thought that even their SCP-3812 would be the strongest. But when I actually read about it, I saw that it was not even nearly as strong as it was in EN branch, to the point that even Scarlet King was stronger to it. Seeing this, I thought that maybe Chinese branch more so focuses on the Scarlet King, hence making it the strongest in the verse. But as I researched about it more, I found that even Scarlet King was not the strongest there. There were characters on its level, and some even beyond it, like the Supreme Author. And with the knowledge I had back then, I made a list including the 5 characters that I thought were the strongest in the verse. And the list included Adibus and Unity, true upper narrators, Scarlet Demon, true protagonist of life, and Supreme Author. And for the longest time, I thought Supreme Author was the strongest in CN branch. But then I got more information regarding the CN branch, and it changed the entire list even further, with information regarding God of Arkham or Mark Henry. My list then expanded from just 5 strongest to more than 20 characters, and it continuously kept on changing with time. And now with the link regarding working of pataphysics, there was mentions of characters like the Ultimate Veiler and Alethea who are near the level, or even beyond the level of God of Arkham and Supreme Author. And this would keep on continuing like this for an indefinite amount of time. There are so many characters now in the CN branch, that to mention strongest, a person would have to make a top 100 list, to add as many as possible. For fuck's sake, there are even Yog-Sothoth and Azathoth in the CN branch. So it is nearly impossible to state a definitive strongest in the CN branch at all. And the thing is, there is not even much surety if these characters are even real or canon. They could be just made-up characters which we believe to be true. And I know these might be from the page of the official Chinese branch, but the official Chinese branch is not even in the search page. The availability of the info is very scarce and unverifiable due to tons of reasons. And plus that various other reasons altogether, with the main objective of the branch being just making of these OP characters just for the sake of power scaling. I think CN branch on a grand scale is unscalable due to problems arising in scaling the verse. So from now on, only the provable and verifiable characters would be scaled. So I personally declare the supreme author as the strongest character in Cn branch, as it is a verifiable character and is stronger than most of the other provable characters in Cn branch. Characters like the Void Emperor, Aletheia, Mark Henry, and rest of the characters like them need to be backed up by more proof, and not just a paragraph regarding them, in an authentic website or page, with proper translations. Until then, they won't be considered for scaling, due to lack of credibility and proof. All in all, what I'm trying to say is due to the obscurity of the Cn branch, scaling them overall is not possible without intaking unreliable sources and information from random links and forums. And the website of official raw Cn branch texts doesn't even look like a professional page for a verse. So I am leaning more to believe that these overpowered projects are just OCs created by a group of people knowledgeable in the field of power scaling and trying to make the strongest character. Just like how people believed in anti-principle, these could also be just OCs which people believe to be true, whereas they are just fan-made projects which people believe to be true. The entire Cn branch could just be one big fan-made project, or in simple terms, fan canon. So in that kind of case, the entire verse would fall under OC fallacy and would be not considered for power scaling. But that's just a possibility. It doesn't have to be true. This entire thing is just how I view it to be. Not 100% true, but still holds many truths. The overall view of Cn branch is so fishy that it seems like this to me. So this is just my perspective and my thoughts regarding it. You are obviously allowed to agree or disagree with my take based on your opinions and perspective. So all in all, what are your thoughts? Even if you disregard some of my statements, there are still so many undeniable problems which hinders the scaling of Cn branch that it is almost uncertain where it scales, which character scales how much, which characters are real, which are fake. Is the whole thing even canon? So many problems in the way that I think scaling Cn branch is simply not possible.